Hey guys, I wanted to do a quick little video. Um, maple syrup tapping season's here, and although I'm not doing it this year because I have a ton of stuff already going on, and I actually have a ton of maple syrup from in my pantry right now, so I don't really need any. Um, but I thought that for the beginner out there, I would do a quick little demonstration on making a tap out of natural material. It doesn't cost you anything, and if you're a beginner and you want to get to tapping a couple of trees and play around, you could do it, and it wouldn't cost you a thing for the taps. And you can find buckets and stuff just about anywhere. Um, what I have here is an elderberry bush, and elderberry has a very good characteristic, and that is that it is absolutely got a pithy center in it. Um, Let me go grab a saw and we'll cut a little piece of this off, and I'll show you what I mean. Of course, getting to it sometimes can be a pain in the butt. But anyways, the great thing about elderberry is that it has a pithy center in it. And of course we can clean this up just as well as you want to. Oh, not yet. I'm not too far from my house. This elderberry bush is actually growing alongside my garage because I planted it here a few years back so that I would have them close to the house, because we make jelly and stuff like that. We haven't made wine yet, but we're thinking about it. Oh, that's not gonna snap. Okay, let me go grab a smaller saw because I don't want to burr this thing up too bad. Okay, so I took a saw and I cut this end off relatively flat. It doesn't really matter that much. And then I'll just take and measure out. The length doesn't matter too much, kind of whatever you want. And I just got this Mora knife used off eBay, and it's coming loose from the handle. That's probably why it was on eBay, but that's okay, I can fix that. I've never had a Mora knife do that before. And I snapped, clean this end up a little bit. And you guys are way out of camera. Stand beside my pickup truck too. Usually all I do is taper the ends. You can take all the bark off if you want, it's up to you. I just take enough bark off here to sort of put a taper in it. That way when you drill your hole in the tree, that taper will make it sit in there nice. And you ain't got to get too fancy with these or anything like that. And then if you look in the end of this, let me find the camera here. If you look in the end of this, it's got a pith in it. And what I usually do is, and I'll remove the end of it for you, and the hole in there ends up being about a 1/4 inch hole. Almost all the time it ends up being a 1/4 inch hole. And you end up with that soft pith in there. And you could do as much fancy cleanup on this as you want. But yeah, you know, and then I take a wire, I poke it through there, clean it up really good, and go ahead and, you know, tap it into your tree. Sometimes I'll put a little notch on the top of it. Sometimes I won't. Just depends on what I'm doing. You can make it long enough to where you could just put the bucket underneath and it'll drip out of the bucket. Or you can, actually this one's cracked a little bit on me, but that's okay. Actually, if you put that in the tree, you wouldn't have any trouble with it at all. And, you know, then when I'm done tapping at the end of the year, I usually find something that's 1/4 inch deep. I cut this thing off, or if I can get it out, I'll pull it out. And then I either find something that's 1/2 inch deep or 1/4 inch deep, depending on how big I drilled my hole, or if this is still in there, and I just tap the dowel into there just to plug the hole off. I don't know if you have to do that. Everybody says, I've read that you do, and I've read that you don't, but I always plug it because I figure, you know, why not? If you don't plug it and you quit before the sap stops running, it's just going to sit there and bleed anyway, so you might as well plug it off. But anyways, this is just a quick little elderberry tap. Like I said, you could just poke the hole out pretty easily. Actually, you could probably do it with a stick if you worked it. Yeah, you can. See? Just a regular stick in there, and you just spin it around a little bit, work your way through like so. It's not real hard. I usually use a piece of wire, or I have a crooked awl that is long enough to go through halfway through each end, and I just make my taps accordingly. But you know, you just want to spend a little time cleaning this out, get all that pith out of there. Because you want the sap to run through there real nice. But I don't know, and it goes out, and try not to suck any of that in. Pith in my mouth. Yeah, it's pretty clean. I mean, if you want to get real fancy, you can always get a little round file and clean it out really good. But for what we're doing, that'll work just fine. I don't know if you guys can see through that or not. Maybe if I get out of the light. But anyways, but yeah, you know, you can take a file and clean that out real nice. Take a piece of wire and just bring it in there. Just clean it out pretty nice. And then, yeah, you got yourself a self-made small tap that you could tap maple trees with. And it, you know, it works real good for that. It's a good beginner tap. You know, if you're just screwing around, you're a kid or you're an adult and you just want to do 2 or 3 taps or whatever, or you can make a whole bunch of these up and do a bunch of taps and it wouldn't cost you a dime. Okay guys, another thing you can do when you get your tapers done like this, another thing you can do is you just take your knife and make a slight cut into it like that, and this would be the side you just cut would be the top of the spout when you drive it into the tree. And I don't know if it helps or not. I've never really tried either or. I think I've always put this cut into there. I almost always put in, I have always put this cut into there. But anyways, you drive into the tree, and supposedly when the sap runs up, when it's on its way back down, it'll catch more in that cut. Whether it works or not, I'm not sure. but it's something you can do. I'm pretty sure it probably works either way, to be honest with you. But I see a lot of guys doing that, and I thought I would give it to you. That's the way I usually do it when I bring it in here, because I figure if it helps, it can't hurt. And I'll tell you what, there last year I tapped a couple of about 5 maple trees about this big around, and I'll tell you what, I was getting 5 gallons of sap every day. So you know, maybe it helps, maybe it doesn't. So anyways, I just wanted to go over that really quick and share it with you and say thank you. Like, subscribe, and share if you like the video, and look me up on Facebook under Carl Mellison, or on my website, primitivehunter.net. But anyways, so thank you.